The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Good morning. This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with my husband, fellow realtor, Pat Devaney. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Excellent. We have with us James Caceres for the second week in a row. James is an associate broker with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, consistently a top producer since 2023. He's licensed since 2022. And he also received the National Association of Hispanic Realtors Award, number 27 in the Northeast, correct?
That is correct.
All
Good
right.
morning.
Good morning. And you're also an accredited buyer's representative, and that's a designation that's given by the National Association of Realtors. So that's also what sets you apart, because you do work with buyers and sellers, but a lot of buyers. And you would say you're bilingual, so about 75% of your clients speak Spanish?
That is correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
Good. Well, when they call the office and they ask to speak, there's some that, don't mind corresponding with an English-speaking agent. But for the most part, when they ask there's a trust when you can speak Spanish. I think a built-in trust. You don't have to overcome a barrier. I think they feel like it's a familiar thing.
More, I guess, of a comfort thing. Mm-hmm. They feel more comfortable. But then I guess it's your personality as well. If you're, someone that is easy to talk to, it's easier to talk to them and get your business.
Right. And so you have a good name and following within the community of the families that you serve.
Correct.
All right, good. Last week we spent a lot of time on where you've been mainly selling properties and the rent versus own and the affordable housing initiatives that you line up with, and then the cultural trends in that community. This week I wanted to talk about, do you know what happened on March 1st?
What happened on March 1st?
I'm going to tell you. This is a new rule that went into effect, and it's primarily a rule from the government that's cracking down on money laundering. So when people buy properties all cash, residential, single family to 1 unit to 4 units would be considered a residential transaction. And when it's cash by a corporation or a trust, they want that buyer can remain anonymous before March 1st. Well, this rule that went into effect on March 1st wants transparency and who the individual is and the identity to avoid some money laundering.
Oh, darn it. They just ruined my evil plan.
Yeah,
I was
there you
going to
go.
buy up all the $1 million homes.
And I don't know that truly really affects us in this market. I mean, I'm sure there's a few things out there that'll affect, but it's mostly really on the title company to take care of all of that necessary paperwork. But I thought that was very interesting.
So they have
because there are a lot of transactions in our area that are cash.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we lose a number of offers to, different buyers, especially the ones that are coming out of town. They're selling their properties over in New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut. They're getting top dollar, and then they're coming out here and buying properties
I
cash.
think it's a bargain.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
It's like 2 for 1.
And it really is. And the quality of life when you think about it, right? So it's just, whether it's in the city of Scranton or in the suburbs or the rural areas, the quality of life is just a lot different than
In the city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because my house, I have cameras everywhere. You're by my house, you're under surveillance. I have the alarm. When I go into the garage, I turn the alarm on. And people are like, where do you think you are? Do you think you're in the city? And I'm like, well, you never know.
It's that mindset.
It is that mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry, because if there's something's going to happen, it's going to happen in an instant, and it's going to happen fast. And
well, that's how it happens in the city.
yeah, it does. It's usually a crime of opportunity, but there's so much more foot traffic and so many more people.
Yeah.
So it's much more. So, but to come here, it's a slower pace. It's just so much better, really and truly.
It is.
And then Patrick, my son, who was born and raised here, says, "Oh, it's too slow. I want to go and I want to be in the city. I want to be."
He loves it.
He
loves it out there?
He
Yeah.
wants to be in the rat race.
Oh, no.
And watch
Yeah.
the rats race from garbage
Yeah.
bag to garbage bag.
And you see, after graduation, he expects to stay there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, when he's done, he'll be done. I mean, I don't think it's going to be something that I don't think he's going to
You don't think he's going to
stay there forever. Mm-mm.
But your brother did it too. I mean, when he lived in the city,
And he
had
loved
his-
it.
and he had his fill of it. and
But
came
then he
back.
was finished.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you just have to get it out of your system.
Yeah, I agree. I agree there.
You get a few incidents, things happen, and you say, I don't know.
I had enough, right?
Right. To be young again. I always saw myself going out there conquering the world. It never happened for me. So, but I'm glad Patrick is a chance.
you met me, and you used to visit the city, and then say, "Boy, I'm glad to get out of there."
Right. Yeah. I don't think I knowing myself as well as I do now. I didn't know myself back when I thought I could, be in crowds, and I'm not. That's not for me.
No way.
Yeah. My wife gets nervous when we go to the city.
Yeah,
When you stop at a corner and the light turns green, it's just a mob of people.
Right. And
She's
Jackie,
just
I walk on the curb.
she does. I can't even.
And she's
She'll
just-
cross the street, and we're just shaking our heads.
I know.
But she says, "I can tell how close we get to the city when I'm driving."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because as we get closer to the city, I get closer to the guy in front of me.
Yeah. Road
Nobody's
rage
cutting me
sets
off.
in. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
I'm the same way. That's funny you say that. I'm the same way. Evelyn, she tries to nudge me, like, stop and don't honk the
and
horn.
She's grabbing the dashboard, right?
oh my God. But I mean, it is true. We have a different mindset here because I could still remember there was an incident where I had my old Honda Civic, and I had on the front seat $1 on the passenger side. And I got out of the car and I locked the car, and he turns around, he sees the $1 through the window. He says, "You're not going to leave that there." I'm like, "What's the problem?" And
I said, somebody will break the window.
somebody's going to break the window.
Absolutely.
I said, for $1?
Yep.
Desperate people do desperate things.
Well, that was in Dunmore. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe there's
Dunmore, the home of the high rise.
Yeah, the high rise.
You ever see that? It's a 5-story building. We're driving past it. It said high rise parking. I said, "Where's the high rise?"
He asked me where the high rise is.
She said, "That's it right there. It's
Yeah.
5 stories." I said, "Listen," because I was a fireman at the time. I said, "Listen, we can make that with a ladder." I
Yeah.
said, that I can make that roof with a ladder. I said, "That's not a high rise."
Well, to our standards, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
okay.
Back to real estate.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about last year at this time, buyers were paying more for payback on their mortgage. The interest rate was at in the 7s, right? Mm-hmm. This year, I mean, there's some out there that are high 5s, but it's say 6%. So if you have a $300,000 house and you put 10% down and you go for a 30-year mortgage, your principal, your interest, PMI at 7% is $1,913. That same house at 6%, same terms, is
17 something.
17 something, almost a $200 difference.
Yeah.
So, that's considerable considering, the price appreciation is something that buyers had to contend with since the onset of COVID. Prices for values of homes continually went up. Mm-hmm. And then, when the interest rates were going up, they couldn't afford it, the same house as much.
Yeah.
They had to reduce their wants and their needs.
We had a lot of buyers reaching out to us, telling us, we'll start looking again once the interest rates go down. Yeah.
When the prices of the homes go down, that's when I'm going to buy. Yeah. Okay. That means never.
Right. So when's the right time to buy a house?
I'd say now. Any time now. buy a house because you never know when the interest rates are going to go up, when the prices are going to go up. You got to get it while you can, and you can always refinance later on.
Right. Yeah. And I tell people the right time to buy is when you find something that checks all your boxes, because it might not be there.
That's right. What did the lender say? Date the rate, marry the house. So you can always change your terms of financing.
Yeah.
When we bought our house, it was 6.5%. Then we refinanced at 5.5%. Then at 4.5%, and then it went down to.
I put my foot down. No more refinancing.
Yeah. Well, we got 2
because I was saddled with all the work
on a 15-year mortgage. We're almost done.
Yeah.
Almost finished.
Nice.
There's a lot of equity out there. And a lot of people that are in a house like we are want the interest rates back down. And
Right.
I don't think we're ever going to see them where they were.
No, I don't think so.
You know?
Yeah.
It was a strange time.
I think those interest rates were like during the time of COVID. You saw like 4 or 5%, and now people expect it to go back to that at some point, and I just don't see it.
I don't see it. That wasn't. No.
Exceptional, right?
First time I bought my place in the 80s, I think it was like 13% I was paying.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I read a lot about home features, emerging home features, smart technology, wellness spaces, outdoor entertainment areas that are becoming essential for some buyers in some areas. Do you see any of that here?
I do see some homes that have like the smart technology. They'll have like cameras inside the home, outside the home. They'll have like Wi-Fi thermostats, things like that.
Does it make a difference?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's cool and nice to have, but I don't think it's something that
will sway somebody.
Right. Like, it's not going to make a buyer say, oh, I have to have this house because, it has this. Right.
Okay.
Don't
How
they
about
have refrigerators that tell you when you need stuff?
I think they do.
Yeah, they do.
I have a fridge at home that has a TV, and like you could watch YouTube and all that stuff on it.
So you went to get a sandwich and you forgot. You're stuck in front of the refrigerator.
Well, from your phone, you can push the button and it tells you you can see what's inside the fridge. But it's not one of those things like you want to make an offer because it has that.
You got that right. I got that right.
Yeah.
It's a plus. It's
Right.
a bonus.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. And I think outdoor entertainment areas, they do, depending on how it's done, if it's tastefully done.
And some people live
Yes.
at that outside space.
Yes.
Yes. Not us, but there's people around us that spend all their time. They're out there already.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
All year round.
all year round.
So it, when you're close to the house next to you, it does affect if you're not one of those people. So,
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah, so it's nice to be considerate and respectful of others, but we don't always find that in life, right? Okay, so anyway, let's talk about it's springtime.
Finally.
Yep.
All right. There's a lot of things to do, but the thing that I think that is most important that I always get nervous about is the dryer vent.
Yes, she does.
The dryer vent. Why is that?
Well, there was a house that went up in flames 30 years ago on Jefferson Avenue because they never cleaned the dryer
The
hose.
lint.
lint.
The hose was
The hose that went out,
Yeah.
vents
it's a
outside.
flexible, crappy hose, and they never cleaned it. It got clogged, and it started a fire. Lint is very, very flammable.
Yeah.
I mean, if something's malfunctioning, just a spark can't catch it and destroy the home. So when we built our house, we don't have a flexible hose. We have it all hard piped all the way out. And my lovely wife has me on a schedule that we have this brush that goes on the end of the drill and it goes in. So once a year, I'm out there And his
The stuff that comes
that
out.
comes out is amazing.
He could never tell me that here's the thing, though. He could never tell me he did it and
Get away
not
with-
do it.
And get away with
and
it.
get away with it.
It's all over the
It's
driveway.
all over the driveway.
Evidence.
Yes,
that's
the evidence. So I go, did you do it? Yep. I go out and I look. It's done.
The inspector has come by.
Yeah. But these are the things that unless that fire happened, I probably wouldn't have given it a second thought as we stood outside watching this house go up in flames.
Right.
Right.
And I worked, my last few years, I worked in Staten Island as a fireman. And most of the fires that started in the homes were people who would turn the dryer on and leave the house. So if there was a malfunction,
That's
they
it.
didn't know. And it would usually get going good. And many times they could trace it right back to the dryer.
Wow.
So I think I scared it with my stories.
Yeah, so that's important, and I like to mention it at this time of year. And I think
So is this something like every year you should
I would, yeah.
be cleaning?
And the flexible
Okay.
hoses,
Yeah.
I think they're terrible. I think
Really?
because they kink and they loop and the ventilation isn't good.
Oh,
You know, it's not a good airflow. And
Yeah.
plus, you save money too if you have a free flowing dryer vent. It moves all the air out and it dries your clothes better and it's safer too. So ours is hard piped by design.
Okay.
And 2026 started off for us with a little drama, and it wouldn't have happened had you not gone to your regular medical checkup,
Right?
right?
Yes.
So regular medical checkups are important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They find things, one thing leads to something else. And
This is a
it's-
public service announcement. It has nothing to do with real estate. I'm serious. Like they say, get this done when you hit this age, that's done. I mean, and I've been on somebody, a coworker of ours. I've been on their tail because they stopped going to the doctor years ago. And as we get older, we can't afford that. So Pat, there was a discovery made totally by mistake at your routine checkup.
Right. No symptoms, nothing. The doctor, I had turned 65 and I was on Medicare and he's good as Dr. Jaditz. But anyway, he says, well, we're going to get you a sonogram of your aorta. He says it's covered and you get it. And it came back and the results were questionable. And then it led to some other tests because from the fire department doctor I went through and I found out I had a blockage.
Wow.
And I went in and I got a upgrade. I had my plumbing fixed and the doctor said, the cardiologist, I didn't have it done around here. The cardiologist says this could have killed you.
Wow.
And I had no symptoms. I mean, I was running out of gas, getting a little tired here and there, but nothing.
And you thought it was because of your age?
Yeah, because I'm an old fart. Yeah, but that's just part of it, And I got very lucky, very, very lucky.
So get your medical checkups.
Go to the doctor and do what he says.
Yeah.
Before it's too late.
Yep.
Yeah.
You never know.
Early discovery. That's
Oh, you were saying you had a cousin who
Yeah, I had a cousin who passed away a couple years ago. 44 years old. He had 90% of his
right.
blockage. Right. He felt tired. The last thing he did was call his mom. He said he was going to lay down, and that was it.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
With us today is James Caceres, associate broker with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate. How does someone get in touch with you?
I can be reached on my cell phone at 570-352-7106 or by email at enj.century21@gmail.com.
And jamescaceres.com. And Caceres is Caceres.
Correct.
jamescaceres.com. Okay, Pat?
I want to say hello to Fred. Give a shout out to Fred because I was at a store talking to somebody, and Fred goes to me. He goes, "I know you." He goes, "You're Pat Devaney from the radio." I was like,
He recognized
he recognized my voice. I wasn't even talking to him, and
Well,
he
it's
says, "Oh, I
very
know your wife.
distinctive.
Your wife's got a great voice." He goes, "I listen to you guys all the time." So Fred,
Hi, Fred.
Hi,
I
Fred.
wasn't there. I didn't meet you, but thanks for listening.
so there's a shout out.
Okay.
All right. So we have a beautiful 4-bath cedar log home. It's at 38 Cedar Ridge in Hawley for $380,000. This log home sits on a 1-acre lot in beautiful Hawley, Pennsylvania. This home has 2 kitchens, creating the perfect setup for an in-law suite. The main kitchen is large, and it's got beautiful granite countertops. This home has hardwood floors, a fireplace, a wet bar, large covered porches, and a large 2-car garage. This home is located in the Woodledge Village community. That's a 6-bedroom, 4-bath, cedar log home at 38 Cedar Ridge in Hawley for $380,000, and that's listed by Nicole Clark of our office.
Today's show is in part brought to you by 1031 Corp., who's a wonderful sponsor of ours. They help real estate investors defer capital gains when selling and reinvesting in business use or investment property. 1031 Corp. is the middleman you need to help you complete a 1031 exchange. And for over 3 decades, they have mastered how to keep the exchange process easy. Their exchange experts will educate you on 1031 exchanges, review your situation, and walk you through the entire process. If you own an investment or business property, whether it's residential or commercial, contact 1031 Corp. to learn how you can exchange into a property that works better for you while deferring the capital gains and depreciation recapture so you can keep your hard-earned equity working in your next property. They can be reached at 1-800-828-1031. Once again, 1-800-828-1031 or visit 1031corp.com.
And the secret with the 1031 is you have to contact them before the
closing.
The closing, right?
Yes,
You can't-
that is
right.
so many people call me after the closing.
Fact, you can't help
You
it.
can't help. Yep. Hold on for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate at 94.3 The Talker. We'll resume in just a moment.
What can a Century 21 agent do for you? They show your home, solve your problems, and pet your dog. They provide the service of a butler and the savvy of a business tycoon. They explain the market, love a good barbecue, and never drink milk from the carton, so invite one over. They do your homework, legwork, and sometimes yard work. Basically, they provide some TLC to YOU. This is who they are. This is what they do. Century 21 agents. Smarter, bolder, faster. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hi, this is Jackie Ruddy from Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Is real estate on your mind? It's on ours 24/7. Whether you're buying, selling, investing, or in need of an appraisal, you have questions, we have answers.
Thinking of buying or selling a house and have questions? Tune in to the Real Estate Roundtable hosted by locally owned and operated Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 11:30.
Call 570-344-6724 or visit jruddy.com. That's JRUDDY.com. Thanks for joining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker. I'm here with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker. And we also have James Caceres joining the conversation. James is an associate broker with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate and consistently a top producer, also an ABR, accredited buyer representative, and number 27 from the National Association of Hispanic Realtors, and that's in the Northeast region.
Hello.
Hello. In such a short time, you've gone so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of work.
Yeah, and a new baby.
And a new baby. That's right. Evangeline Rose Caceres.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful name.
Thank you.
So what's the secret to being so successful? Showing up? How about that?
Showing up, just having a good relationship with your clients, and gaining their trust, I have clients that from when I started in real estate still call me to this day. They can call me at any time. I get invited to birthday parties and weddings, and it's funny, like when you first met them and helped them buy a home, and now you see them starting a family, and now you're getting invited to birthday parties and baby showers and stuff. It's just an amazing feeling.
So you would say it's referrals, it's word of mouth?
Most of my
you
business
people?
has been, most of it has been referrals. One client is happy, they like the way I work, and they have family members that see that they were able to purchase a home and they want to do the same thing, get in the same thing and get a house, and they refer me out to them, and then I'm able to help them as well, and it just keeps going.
Well, you became a big part of their life.
Yeah.
And they trusted you with a huge...
One of the biggest investments.
If not the biggest, right? Yeah. So, and then you're going and seeing and working for months, and you become friends and more than just acquaintances.
Right.
And it's not finished after the deal.
No, it's, you still get the phone calls after, hey, this broke or this got damaged. Who do I call? Things like that. Mm-hmm. So,
and you're always there to help them, to guide them, to assist them with whatever situation they come across, right? So that's good. And referrals are key. That's not only sphere of influence, but people that you've actually done work with that can testify to your greatness.
My Jackie hasn't sold a house in years, and she's still getting, people still contact you, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm not on the ground in the trenches listing and selling properties. But I think I've been pretty much busier. I could say for a fact I'm busier now than I've ever been. And it's because the company grew. We have almost close to 40 agents. The company grew. And there has to be that person in charge that people can go to when, there's an 11th hour situation. And for most of real estate, that tends to be what happens.
So you must be the captain of the ship?
Yeah, but I don't. And another thing is, and this is very important, I don't compete with our agents.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that that's a healthy situation because there's always that.
So what does that mean? You don't list and sell homes?
Right, I don't list and sell them.
Okay.
But I guide each and every transaction to the closing table. I'm in the background, assisting and advising and helping. So
there's usually a line up the hallway with people with questions for you, and they have to take a number and wait till they get called to go in and see the captain.
Yeah, we have that thing that says now serving.
Yeah, well, I think what I'd like to do is put a camera there and live. What do they call
live
that?
Stream? We're going to do a YouTube or something?
Yeah, if people could see, it's like the deli counter.
It really is.
It's constantly busy.
It's constant. Mm-hmm. And some days it's 3 or 4 people deep.
Yeah, but you have all the knowledge. I mean, is there anything that you haven't seen?
Well, yes, there are. But I have, a support system in place where if I, don't have the answers I need to check or double check, I have a support system in place. So, I do not claim to know it all. I know a lot, but I don't know it all. But we'll get answers. We'll figure it out.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So that's necessary. So do you have any compelling stories of some of the clients that you've worked with, how they found their dream home?
How they found their dream home?
Maybe there was an uphill battle or they lost hope or, something.
Oh, I've had clients that lost hope. They didn't want to do it anymore. They got tired of putting in offers and, losing offers to people outbidding them and going over asking price, things like that. But
we don't see that as much now, do you?
You still see it.
You still see it, but not like it was 2 or 3 years ago. No.
Yeah.
Okay. So people get tired.
They do get tired, and I feel like it's a process. You're never going to find a perfect home. There's always going to be something, but you can't give up, and they tend to, they put in an offer or 2 or 3, and then they feel like they're not going to get a house. They're not going to find something that they want. They don't want to settle for just anything. But, you just got to keep pushing forward and, can't give up.
So you only find the perfect home as if you build it, right?
No, not even that.
And then you get the laundry chute that you wanted?
Yeah. Building has its own set of problems.
Yes,
you don't know until you live in it.
Yep.
Right?
And then the sheetrocker. Yep. You don't know.
James Caceres, associate broker with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
I could be reached at 570-352-7106 or by email at enj.century21@gmail.com.
And jamescaceres.com, Caceres, jamescaceres.com. Pat?
Yes, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 509 Main Street in DuPont for $165,000. This home retains much of its original charm with exposed woodwork and beautiful hardwood floors. The home has updated kitchen and baths. It's got replacement vinyl windows. This 2-story home sits on a 45 by 120 lot with off-street parking for 3 cars. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at 509 Main Street in DuPont for $165,000, and that's listed by Jim Gilhooly of our office.
Don't forget to join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. for more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21, Jack Ruddy Real Estate, and 94.3 The Talker.